Welcome back. President Biden addressing the nation for the first time last night since dropping out of the 2024 race. He did so from the Oval Office. Biden says that he plans to keep busy in his final stretch as president.
Over the next 6 months, I'll be focused on doing my job as president. That means I'll continue to lower costs for hardworking families, grow our economy. I'll keep defending our personal freedoms and our civil rights, from the right to vote to the right to choose.
Meanwhile, today, Florida Senator Rick Scott will be introducing a resolution urging the White House cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment and remove President Biden from office. He's warning that Biden poses a threat to our national security. Joining me right now is the man himself, Florida Senator Rick Scott, a member of the Senate Armed Services, Homeland Security, and Budget Committee. Senator, thanks so much for being here this morning. Tell us how he poses a threat to national security in this final 6 months in his office.
Well, first off, we saw the debate. We saw his speech last night. We know he doesn't have the capacity to make the choices. Somebody else is making the choices for him. And let's look at where we are in the world. We've got Russia invading the Ukraine. We've got Iran helping the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas. We've got Xi threatening China. This is not a safe time. We've got Christopher Wray saying that we have terror cells all across this country. We've got a wide open southern border. We've got inflation that's out of control. So we have a significant number of problems, and we've got a part-time president that we're not sure can make the decisions. So what Vice President Harris has to do, she has to work to get the 25th Amendment invoked. We've got to get a new president. We've got to get somebody, hopefully, will do a better job than Biden has the capacity to do right now.
I mean, it doesn't look like the cabinet is going to invoke the 25th Amendment, but it's a fair question to ask. If you're dropping out of the race for president, then how do you justify continuing on as the president of the United States? Unfortunately, that address last night did not give us any reasons for him dropping out. He
No.
went on the attack against Trump. Why do you think he stepped down from the race?
Well, I think it's clear. Democrats, they know he can't win. I mean, here's a guy, look, he won the primary. Whether he should have or shouldn't, he won the primary. Democrats say, oh, Republicans are a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy. What they did is they said a duly elected president, somebody that won the primary, hey, you can't beat Trump, so we're going to get rid of you. So they were all on board to get rid of him, and they're picking Harris, who didn't win any primaries, never went through this process, and got no votes to be their nominee, and now she's going to be their nominee. Yeah. This makes no sense.
Well, meanwhile, Israel protesters burning the American flag, defacing monuments, clashing with police yesterday in Washington. They were protesting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress. Almost half of your colleagues, congressional Democrats, skipped the speech. So your colleagues in the House on the Democrat side just blew it off, including Vice President Kamala Harris. Senator, you had a strong reaction to this on X. You write this: these Hamas-loving terrorist sympathizers have been emboldened at every turn by the Biden-Harris administration's public attacks on Israel. Kamala Harris's appeasement of these radicals who hate Israel and hate America was clear today when she skipped Netanyahu's speech. So you think this was a message? I mean, why would she skip the speech?
Because she supports Hamas. It's real simple. She works for the Hamas-loving part of her party, right? I mean, Prime Minister Netanyahu explained the case. Do you support democracy and freedom, or do you support terrorists? Hamas are terrorists. They killed American citizens. And first off, Chuck Schumer didn't shake hands with Prime Minister Netanyahu. On top of that, Harris didn't show up. Neither of them called out these protesters that defaced over by Union Station. These are just Hamas-loving Democrats. That's what they are.
Well, I mean, there seems to be a rewriting of history this morning and certainly this week about Kamala Harris and her performance as vice president and what she's capable of. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy claims now President Biden never put Vice President Kamala Harris in charge of the border. He claims it's a false narrative. Is what he wrote on X. Murphy's post getting fact-checked on X, users adding this community note: Harris was appointed to lead efforts to stem migration across the U.S.-Mexico border by President Biden. At that time, it was reported by every major news source. We went back and looked. Here's President Biden assigning Kamala Harris the job back in March of 2021. Watch.
I've asked her, the VP, today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle, and the countries that we're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks stemming the migration to our southern border. It's not her full responsibility and job, but she's leading the effort.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and for having the confidence in me. And there's no question that this is a challenging situation. While we are clear that people should not come to the border now, we also understand that we will enforce the law.
Well, somebody needs to show Chris Murphy this video, since he claims that Biden never put Kamala in charge. And then there's the New York Times with its own version of history. It says Vice President Kamala Harris did not play a role in shaping President Biden's economic policy. They say Harris was, quote, rarely a loud voice during economic debates, including conversations about countering inflation. Also says that Harris sometimes attended economic briefings, but was not always a contributor. Now, the Washington Post, however, reports Kamala is trying to build upon Biden's economic agenda. She's vowing to revive the president's care economy plans to expand the welfare state, Senator. So what do you think in terms of Kamala's performance on the economy and foreign affairs?
Well, clearly the border is not secure. So now I guess Chris Murphy's acknowledged the border's not secure, just saying it's not Harris's fault. It's clearly Harris's fault. She was put in charge. Number two is she was the tie-breaking vote on the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which actually caused more inflation. So when you see a price hike, it's a Harris price hike. She did this. She's part of this. She was an integral part of the Biden administration, and she's going to be held accountable for all the bad acts of the Biden administration. The border, inflation, a woke military, all these things she's part of. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, there's also the fact that she was the deciding vote on a lot of the spending. I mean, if $7 trillion in borrowing and spending by the Democrats on Joe Biden's watch is the key reason that we saw inflation run up to 40-year highs, then you've got to go back to the people who voted for all of that spending. And Kamala was the tie-breaking vote on the American Rescue Plan and the Inflation Reduction Act. On March 4th, 2021, the Senate voted 50-50 on a motion to proceed with debate on the American Rescue Plan. Harris broke the tie to affirm the motion. On August 7th, 2022, the Senate voted 50-50 to pass the Inflation Reduction Act. Harris once again broke the tie to pass that bill. And that was an amendment to the Inflation Reduction Act. To affirm the amendment, she broke the tie, Senator. So, I mean, where were you on those votes in the Senate?
Oh, I was clearly fighting against those votes. Since I've been up here 5.5 years, I've been saying, if we don't stop spending money, if we don't balance our budget, we're going to see massive inflation. We're seeing massive inflation. It's hurting the poorest families. 30% increase in grocery prices, 50% increase in gas, 50% increase in housing. It's devastating for families like I grew up. I mean, I grew up in public housing. I would just think about what would my mom be going through right now with these massive price hikes. Harris is part of it. Every price hike should now be called the Harris price hike. That's exactly what it is.
Senator, you're running to be the next GOP Senate leader. How does Kamala Harris being on the top of the ticket impact the down ballot races in the swing state? And what are you expecting in November?
I think we're going to have a big win in the House, a big win in the White House, and a big win in the Senate, because the American public has completely rejected where Harris is. That we want a secure border. Americans want a secure border. They don't want this massive inflation. They want a strong military. They don't want a military that's woke. So Harris is the opposite side of all those issues. We're going to have a massive win in November.
How do you convince your colleagues to put you in the Mitch McConnell seat when he steps down?
Well, what I've talked about is we clearly have to make a sea change. What we've been doing is not working. We're now up to almost $35 trillion worth of debt. We've got to have a sea change here. We've got to go back to a regular order. That means our bills go through committee. We need to have appropriations bills where we balance the budget.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we do all the things that we should be doing.
Senator, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much. We'll be watching your work. Senator Rick Scott.